Well, good morning from the Shore School in Sydney, a school with a view, as you can see behind me, the Sydney Harbour Bridge and the Sydney Opera House. Pretty nice place to do your studies and a place where the Lions are preparing for the final game on Australian soil against the Wallabies as they looked for a clean sweep, a 3-0 victory over Joe Schmidt's side at the Sydney Olympic Stadium on Saturday. So the Lions trained lightly here this morning as they begin to finish their celebrations, park their celebrations for a couple of days, having gone on the tear for a couple of nights. It sounds like they trained here, they used the gym. Sounds like Mack, Hansen, Joe McCarthy and Sione Tuipulotu are back on the pitch, and sounds like they're going to be available for Saturday's game. But sadly, Garry Ringrose, he's following the return to play protocols and will not be involved in Saturday's final test, which means he won't be a test Lion at the end of this tour, albeit I think history will regard him as one of the bravest Lions for going up to Andy Farrell and telling him that he's not going to be able to play after he felt concussive symptoms during training over in Melbourne last weekend. This morning, there was a World Rugby press conference ostensibly about the ticketing strategy for the 2027 World Cup, which will see us all return to Australia in a couple of years' time. And there's lots of information about that on the Irish Independent website. But really the big talking point, and Alan Gilpin, the CEO of World Rugby, began his opening address by addressing Saturday's game, and in particular the final decision, that clear out on Carlo Tizzano by Jack Morgan. He didn't come down either side on whether it was the right or the wrong decision, but he did say that Joe Schmidt, he was disappointed in the way he talked about it afterwards, and the way that he talked about player welfare when discussing the decision, and referee Andrea Piardi's decision not to penalise Jack Morgan and award Australia a penalty which would have won them the game. Joe Schmidt won't face any sanction for it, so that's not on the table at all. They're going to just let it slide and hope that this week's game passes without controversy, but it's still been a big talking point in the Australian media. The Lions, as you can understand, have largely moved on from it and are focusing in on finishing the series with a win and making it 3-0. It's going to be difficult just in terms of getting the players back up and finding that why. Andy Farrell is usually very, very good at that. It's not going to be easy, but they are determined to finish off this tour and go the entire tour in Australia unbeaten. I know they lost Argentina before departing Dublin, but they've beaten all the provincial opposition, the 2 invitational sides, and they've just managed to beat the Wallabies obviously well in that first test, and then at the buzzer with Hugo Keenan's try at the end of the second. So the Wallabies are expecting to make changes as well. Alan Alatoa has been ruled out, and we're expecting a bit of freshness to be introduced. We wonder if they're going to risk Will Skelton with the Rugby Championship head, Rob Valentini as well. So all will be revealed on Thursday. They've trained today. They're having a much more normal week. They don't have the celebrations to worry about. So they've been honing in on getting that one victory that might just give them the impetus and give them good memories out of this tour to go on and become a better team, a more competitive team. And they've showed in that second test how competitive they'll be. So both teams are off. Sorry, there's no media tomorrow, but the Lions will train. It's their performance session. So Andy Farrell's beginning to think about that team, what he's going to do, whether he makes changes, whether someone like Josh van der Fleer could come in from the cold. Andrew Goodman's just done a press conference where he said they will go as strong as possible, but knowing that some players are quite tired. They've played 2 really heavy games at the end of the long season, and they have a lot of freshness in the camp as well, and a lot of hunger from players like van der Fleer who haven't played at all in the test series. So all will be revealed on Thursday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.